watching live Minding My Business, where every Tuesday, Daniela and myself are here to teach you how to, well, actually, we're not here to teach you anything. We have guests on. How to elevate your business. This is live, you guys. This is live. So we have Radio Jackie here, Minding My Business, elevate your business, your mindset, and your life. All right, let's have this queen pop on now. All right, welcome everybody. All right, it's been
Good morning.
Hello, queen.
Good morning, gorgeous.
Good afternoon from time. Thank you so much for coming on to Minding
It's a
My
pleasure.
Business.
No, it's
We're
a
so
pleasure
happy
for
to
me
have
to
you.
be here with you ladies. You are some badass B. I don't want to say that word because then they'll tell me, Jackie, stop saying bad words.
Oh, you're good.
Well, we allow you to be authentically. Yeah. Be authentically yourself. So for those of you tuning in, welcome. We really respect and value your time, and we promise, we know that this powerhouse woman is going to be dropping some freaking diamonds on you guys. And Minding My Business is all about elevating your business, your mindset, and your life. And for those of you who don't know, Radio Jackie, you are a therapist, a radio host, a real estate investor, a dispo and relationship manager. You got a lot of
Yes,
stuff
I
going
do a
on,
little bit of
queen.
everything, and honestly, I like to keep on learning every day. It's a new learning experience. So the more I learn, the more I know, the better for me.
That's amazing. You look so perfectly put together, and you just seem to have it like smooth, and like you're manifesting things easily. Has that always been your
Honestly,
story?
so for everyone out there, I was born here, but I was raised in Chihuahua, Mexico, till I was 17. So moving over here from being in a small town where everybody knows everyone, I was the top student. Thank God and my parents that we were wealthy in our town. But coming over here was a big change, not knowing the language, not having my parents here, because I was living with my brother and he's in the military, and you guys know how that goes. Very strict. And moving over here, it was a complete change. And I remember being depressed for a few years. I was probably like size 8 or 10 of jeans. Ladies, you guys know what that means. And I went to size 00. I didn't want to eat. I was didn't want to talk to anybody. I would be in my room every day just trying to learn the language. Learning English from Spanish, it was a total change and challenge for me. Just even translating everything, I would have to use my translator every day just to speak to someone. So that was very challenging. And the food, not having my parents' food or my parents, it was just horrible.
And how did you come out of that dark?
I was used to be number top at my school, in my class, and thank God I have a beautiful family that it's always supporting me. Whatever I do, they're always there supporting the good and the bad. So I think mainly was my brother, seeing my brother succeed with his wife. And I was like, I want that. I want that in my life. I want to have a family one day. I want to be able to build something, and having a strong base as a family helped me out to get out of that. So I came in my last semester of high school, I remember, took the aims, I exceeded the aims. I was going to go to the Air Force, and I got a Fulbright scholarship to go to ASU. And I decided to do it. I was so scared to go to ASU because I'm telling you, I didn't know any English at all. So from going to high school to university, it was a big change. It was a big jump. And I had to, an essay that now it takes me probably like 30 minutes to complete. It would take me 2 to 3 days to translate it and turn it in. So it was a big thing for me, but I had to do it because I wasn't gonna give up, and my parents were doing everything to have me out here.
So it sounds
You mentioned you mentioned like you excelled in school before you moved over to the States and Mexico. What are some of the skill sets that you can definitely like target in on that you can that helped you really thrive or overcome the struggles and the tribulations? Because a lot of people like don't follow through. That's the biggest thing, right? Is our follow through to our commitment to
And I think
ourselves.
that's very crucial in order for you to succeed, in order for you to be a leader. And whatever you do, you have to be good at what you do, right? So I think my vision of building my own empire, skills, there's plenty, but now I see speaking Spanish and English. It's a great skill. Before I was like, oh my God, just like learning the language. So skills, the confidence. We judge ourselves many ways, worse than other people can think of us. So confidence, motivation, every day motivate yourself that you're a badass bitch, that you're gonna be able to do it, that it's okay not to be okay sometimes, but hey girl, like get up and go. Empowering other people helps you all the time.
So I know you graduated not too long ago in with your psychology certificate. I was wondering what exactly motivated you and pushed you to go into that field.
So how I mentioned my brother, he was in the military, and I stayed with my sister back home. We used to live in Buckeye, and I stayed back home with my sister-in-law and my nephew. When my brother came back, he had PTSD, and I didn't know anything about PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and I wanted to learn how to help him and how to help my sister-in-law and myself to be able to manage just a day with my brother, right? So I was working as a social worker because I graduated with a justice studies degree and a Spanish literature degree, and I did social work. So I was working as a social worker at the time, and they offer us money to do a master's. So I was like, you know what, master's in mental health will be very beneficial for me and my family, to support my brother, to support our family, because it's not just about my brother, but it was about the entire family. And I went and I did my master's at Grand Canyon for professional counseling for therapists.
That's amazing. People will, just worry about themselves, but you were picking your career as to how it might help my family, especially in mental health. I feel like that's a big reason why we also started my business. I feel like mental health is not talked about enough, but it goes hand in hand with our everyday life. If you're not succeeding or you're not doing well mentally and spiritually, you're not going to succeed in business. It just goes hand in hand. You have awesome.
Yes.
So what would you say, going back to like the things that you've learned and then also as you're climbing in life, like, because one of the things too we like to add on the live streams is tangible tools for the viewers. We always want to we want our viewers to leave like empowered and capable. If you could give like one of the tools, especially with your background and then also personal experience of overcoming, you mentioned you had to overcome depression and stuff like that when you had moved over to the States. What would be a few maybe tools or strategies or exercises that you thought were the most impactful
I want
or
to
beneficial?
touch base on what Daniela mentioned, that we don't see sometimes mental health as an important thing, and we need to take care of ourselves. Honestly, we need to create routines, and we need to know that it's okay sometimes not to be okay. We put a mask and we keep bottling all that trauma, all that depression. We bottle it up until we can't do it no more, and we explode. And that's when other things, suicide, other things come along, right? But I think starting your day with a clear focus, it's crucial. And also making those routine in the morning. I know I remember interviewing Daniela and asking like, hey, what do you do in the mornings? What's your routine? Creating those routines, just like we create routines with our children, it's important. We ask them, brush your teeth, shower, put this, do that. Us as adults, we need to do that, and we don't. We forget about that. We forget about our base in order to build those walls.
So what's your routine? What are the tools that you use in the morning?
I feel that not too long ago, I started going to the gym and I started meditating. Meditating has been very important. And before, I used to listen to music from my home to the office, and now I do audiobooks. And one of my favorite books that I'm reading right now is Never Eat Alone. Don't eat alone. And I think it's important for us not to eat alone, because every time that you speak to someone, you learn at least one thing you're gonna learn, but you're gonna consider it for the rest of your life.
What has been some of the I mean, I'm a huge advocate for meditation. I was at Dr. Joe Dispenza's event. I'm actually going to go to the advanced one in August. Yeah, I'm meditation is forever transition. You know, Daniela meditates. I think you meditate, Daniela?
Meditation a little bit different than most, but it's what works for me. I've taken the ground, you know, of sitting, seeing the light go from the core of your spine up to your head. To me, that's mine and God's. Like, I ask God that when I'm meditating in His Word, that He's able to enlighten me as to, you know, whatever I have going on at home, whether it needs to be something that needs to be released or taken in, help me, guide me through that, you know, meditation.
And I think also journaling helps a lot. Not only because you go back and you realize that you complete it. It's so nice when you have a to-do list and you mark it down and you're like, ooh, I did that already. So journaling, it's just, I can compare it a lot to-do list, but I feel it's very important for us to write down our goals, to write down what we want to do, because at the end of the day, we are our worst judge. So at the end of the day, we're like, oh man, I completed that. I did that on my own, or I did that with help, with my team, with my husband.
When you talk about meditation, because I wanted to add on this, like, I believe that a lot of people would do things, but they're so busy in life, right? Like, life is like, there's one thing onto the next. Like, why would I add one more thing when I don't even know, like, how it's going to benefit me? What have you seen, like, change or shift when you started adding meditation into your daily routine?
One of the things that I realized is that, and you mentioned it, we don't take care of ourselves as much as we should. I feel like one of the things that I would always talk to my patients about is that when you jump on an airplane, what are the first things they tell you? Put on your mask, then put it to the person next to you. Why? Because you need to take care of yourself first in order to be able to help the rest of the people. Same thing as meditating. I feel like even if you have to set up an alarm and say, hey, you know what? 5 minutes of my day, it's worth it for me because I love myself. So, and it helps through the rest of your day with your kids, because we take it out with our kids, we take it out with our husband, with the boyfriend, with our coworkers. So it does help. Just put your feet on the ground and saying like, hey, today is going to be a great day, even if you feel like shit.
Yeah, that's
so you get into affirmation. Well, I know with my time with Tanya, so not all of the viewers know how I actually began my beautiful journey with Tanya Oliver. I actually was struggling myself with certain things in life that I was carrying a lot of baggage, trauma, so much, a big mess. And Tanya actually gave me the tools to kind of dig myself out of the hole I had created for myself. I love to use that analogy because down there I felt like, oh, it's all my fault, whatever. In a sense, victim mentality. And, you know, we started working using I started using the different tools that Tanya gave me. And now I feel like we like to joke around, like, I graduated, you know? Like, and that's that sense of accomplishment when you feel and you look back at your past and like, oh, wait, I overcame that. Oh, if I could overcome that, I could overcome anything. So like you were saying, Jackie, about journaling. To me, journaling was one of the best tools I had because I could pour my heart out to this paper and not hear about, you know, oh, so and so said this or so and so. I'm venting to this person and whatever, you know? So, Tanya, would you be able to let our audience know how you taught me how to journal and the steps we take? I think that's super important.
Yeah, I think that I mean, I would love to also hear what Radio Jackie, I know you like to go by that. Well, Radio Jackie, her strategies as well. But what I found to be more very impactful is the reason why we resist things is because number one, we don't really have a structure, which you talked about structure, but also because we're overwhelmed with things. And what I found the most impactful and the most successful is creating a daily win, like you talked about, goals, but also taking inventory on everything you did right today. We are our greatest judge, but we've also conditioned ourselves to, and we've been conditioned with society to focus in on like what went wrong or what we still have to do. So our daily wins, step one, step two is our challenges. Then you get into the negatives and then just kind of brain dump it, let it all out, a safe space to let it all out with no judgment and no repercussions. And step three is to then reframe it. The reframes are powerful because it allows you to know that you're capable of making the right decisions. So if you could go back in time, rewrite the process, maybe if you could have reacted differently or made a decision differently that would have led to a different outcome or a consequence, what would you have done differently? But writing it as if it happened in the present tense. And then to end with your intentions, your power words, your intrinsic goals. And I find that to be simple, but very, very impactful, having like a strategy behind the journaling. Do you have like a certain system that really works for you?
I feel that one step is better than no step, right? And healing is something that is not overnight. It's not an overnight process, and it takes time. And sometimes you feel like you're over something and you're happy and you're doing great things, but then there's this like drop and you feel like, you know, the worst, and those wounds reopen. And I just think that every day it's the mindset of not giving up, and not getting discouraged, on taking each day by its own. Each day is a new day, it's a new step. Take a step at a time and just try to be in a better place than that you were yesterday. I always look back and I'm like, wow, Jackie, like you were in a small town in Mexico. You did your degree, and not one degree, I did two. Now you did your master's. Now you're doing investment properties. You started doing radio. And because it was not given to me, but the opportunity was given. And I took the opportunity. And I feel that sometimes we feel scared to take those opportunities, but it's always a learning experience. Always a learning experience. And from those experiences, now from the radio, I met Ramon and Rodrigo, who I work with, and I'm doing investment properties. So it's a total change, but at the end of the day, it all connects.
And how do you plan out your day? I know you're still at the station, at the radio station. You're so busy dispoing deals. Like, I know my head would probably be turning if I had so much going on without a roadmap. Could you tell us about your roadmap? How do you set your day up, and how do you set yourself up for success?
Let me just give you girls a round of applause, because having kids and a husband or a boyfriend, it's hard. It's crazy. So right now I don't have kids. I'm single, and thanks to that I'm able to have more time. So Daniela, you being
Well, then I don't get a round of applause
Okay,
because
well,
I'm in your
that
lane.
this is for Daniela. Then.
Daniela's in a whole
But
different lane.
just having a husband and kids.
Yeah, that's for Daniela.
Oh my God.
I'm with you.
But for me, during the
But thank you for the credit.
for if and when.
I have plans.
For if and when. But for me, during the week, I'm here at the Dispo Sharks, and then I also do the radio mainly on the weekends. Now I'm doing radio on the weekends, just hosting concerts, and that works better for me because you ladies know that working on this is a 24/7 job, and it doesn't end. You're at 9 calling or 9 p.m., 8 a.m. So it's crazy. But I try to manage my time as much as I can, but there's not a full balance. It goes up and down all the time with the times. So I try my best, but I don't know how like Daniela does it or other people like you, Tanya. You have a lot of work to do too. You're always going up and going to places, so that's even harder.
I'm flying out to Texas next week because now the speaking, I feel like you're like an entrepreneur mom, you know, like you're birthing, like if you think of projects, ladies, right? Like projects, it's like you're creating, and creation is like birthing something. And I feel like any business has literally stages, like you got a baby stage, you got a toddler stage, you got a, you know, teen stage. So you're like, you know, you're an entrepreneur mom. You've birthed a lot of businesses, if you think of it like that, you know, and trying to manage all that. Yeah, but Daniela's a boss. She just like runs everything. She's like, bring it on.
I sometimes don't.
When you're
Oh no, I was just saying,
go
sometimes
ahead.
I don't know how I do it, but it gets done.
You get it done. And I think the biggest thing too, what's up, Mario? I think the biggest thing is that, you know, Daniela and I always ask two main staple questions in the Minding My Business, because women really, really resonate and they want to know, and we get asked these two main questions all the time. And as Daniela was just mentioning about how like she manages to do it, your inner circle is so critical. And when you're in the space of growth, because I mean, just by looking at you, I'm like, this woman has way bigger goals than what you're doing right now. Like we just, but we can tell that we wanted you on the show. And you're just, you know, you're definitely a high-end achiever and a boss and just a beautiful human being. You know, we can tell, anybody watching can tell that your heart is really big. And that's a beautiful thing. You're welcome. As you're growing and expanding, how has your friend circle shifted, and why is it important to be very intentional with your inner circle?
I'm the type of person that I would love to be around friends and family. And now since I started working more and more, my circle became so small. But that circle is people just like the people I work with, and my close friends that want me to succeed, and I want them to succeed. Their success is my own, and likewise, you know. So the circle became to be smaller, but at the same time, it's a more firm circle. It's I feel that you are not made to be small, but you need to show up and be big. And those are the people that I surround myself with.
So other like-minded individuals. How did that shift happen? Like, I know, for example, myself, you know, had friends for many years, but in the becoming, you know, you have to shy away from certain energies, certain people. So how did you shy away from them? Did you have a conversation? Did you just stop talking? Like, how does that process look like for you?
I don't think I had the conversation with everyone, obviously, because it's not it hasn't happened. But mainly with the people I was around with, I did let them know that I was gonna be MIA for some time, or I was gonna be doing this. With the ones that I am close to, it worked. But the other people, or the other friends, because not everyone is your friend, and I learned that. in the bad way, because I was like, wow, they didn't invite me to that birthday, you know, or to that dinner. But now I know that they weren't my friends, because friends, they will always keep in touch with you. So I always try to, before, try to have everyone happy, but now I've learned to keep myself happy first, and then I go about my day and with my family as well, and the people that I'm close to.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like that's very important for people to like reflect on. Just sit back and think about, all right, the last time I was sick, did so and so reach out? Well, no. But the last time so and so wanted to go out partying to the club and drink, did they reach out? Yes. So those are the kind of questions you should be asking yourself and reflecting, because a lot of the times we're able to come up with our own solution, our own thing that we need to do, but it's just hard to do it. It's just hard to shy away from it. It's hard to push back because those are comfort zones. But what do we say, Tanya? If you're in your comfort zone, you're not growing. So,
And
Not growing. I literally just hired new coaches myself because I was too comfortable and they weren't supporting me and pushing me. It was more of like, oh, okay, you don't want to do like, no, like even the people that you hire as your coaches need to be motivating and inspiring and pushing you, and you should never really be comfortable because you're
yeah,
not
you
you're
need
not
to get out of
growing.
your comfort zone. And I feel like a lot of people want you to succeed, but they don't want you to be better than them. And that's the issue sometimes, that we get discouraged with those people. But at the end of the day, like, you have to do it for yourself, for your family.
Mm. What would you say the biggest growth lesson? One thing I spoke about on stage is like find the message in your mess, right? So find the message in your mess. What would you say, like just the last 6 months, or you can even go back, but I like to stay more present, that you feel you've really learned a really powerful message through personal experience with your own growth as becoming her, whoever she is, your next upgrade, your next level up
You
of
know,
becoming of
before,
her.
I believe that in everything comes back with my culture, with my background. As Mexican, being Mexican, they teach you to go to school, that you have to go to school to get a good job. And don't take me wrong, I'm so thankful I was able to go to school. I was able to have the knowledge I have now and the experiences, because that's who I am now. But with that knowledge, I am able to grow in the real estate environment. And I know with this, sky is the limit. And it was very challenging at getting out of my comfort zone, because one thing my dad would always tell me, like, Jackie, get a job that you will get good benefits, the 401k, this and that. And I was like, oh my God, if I tell my dad that I'm doing real estate now, he's going to freak out. He's going to be like, you don't have insurance. Where's your 401k? How are you investing your money? Like, are you just going to travel? So, like, getting all those goals listed, it has been a challenge. But now I feel that I want to work now in order to live good the day of tomorrow. I don't want to live to work. I want to work now to live tomorrow.
So you're operating for the
Yes.
long game, not the short game.
yeah, and I feel like that's really important because a lot of people live for now. Like, oh, I'm going to get fast money now. I'm doing this now. Instead of thinking, all right, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you know, for you, for example, when I have my children, when I have a whole empire, those are the things, those are the real questions that we should be asking ourselves, not what's making us comfortable now. Because I agree with what you said. I know, for example, Art, you know, we all see how successful he is. But in the beginning, oh my goodness, he had no support besides myself and my mom. Like, I remember when he told his mom one day, she said, which I love my mother-in-law, like no shade to her. She's the one that takes care of my babies while we build. But in the beginning, like you said, that's not our culture. And a lot of cultures, not just ours, believe that you have to work, and go to school and get a degree, all this to become successful. But that's not the case. And sometimes in the beginning, it is lonely. Because like I said, Art's mom said, oh, show me the check and then I'll believe you.
Yeah.
You know, and it is lonely and upsetting in the beginning, but as long as you have a clear vision of where you're gonna go and who you aspire to be, that's all that matters. Because eventually you're gonna be able to show your family, look, this is what I was working for. And that's gonna be a different type of gratitude that you're gonna feel for yourself.
Hey, it's Tanya. I'm calling a quick timeout intermission huddle, so bring it in. I'm personally inviting you to our inner circle. It's our monthly VIP meetup with other achievers just like us. Each week, I'm teaching everything you're going to need in order to be successful to step into the most elite version of yourself. I'm going to break this down play by play, the tools, the systems, the strategies, everything you're going to need in order to operate at higher levels mentally, physically, emotionally, and energetically. Look, we're in a season where the idea of full potential just isn't cutting it anymore. It's time to really be it now. So click the link in the show notes and I'll see you in the inner circle. Peace.
Definitely.
Yeah. And it's definitely not cultures. I can add this because I come from a different background. I think it's the generation. I think it's the generations that were brought up. I mean, there are definitely cultural differences, but with specifically business and safety, I would say I think it's our parents and our grandparents, and it's the generation because it was their programming. And the opportunities that we have today, we have just so many opportunities because, I mean, what the internet came out when I was in, I mean, like social media and stuff like that came out when I was in college. So it wasn't, we didn't have the opportunities and the exposure that we have today. And I know same thing, like pushing for school, get education, get a safe job. So I know it's, but maybe some cultures encourage entrepreneurship. Not mine.
Yeah, and I feel it's really
Yours.
nice to teach our parents, to teach just older individuals or adults that are used to different. Just with my parents, their thoughts of a psychologist, of a therapist, is that you go to them because you're crazy, because you're not okay. And I would always tell them, no, like, you go to a therapist because you have the guts of going and having someone else run through your day, through your routine, and find out new skills, or find out skills that you already have but that you forgot about. And I made my mom and my dad go to therapy, not for them because there was something wrong or because they had issues or anything, but because I wanted them to experience it. I wanted them to know what therapy was. And they loved it. And they loved it because they're like, damn, I forgot that because of this, now I do this. And connecting those points and receiving the mental health. It was super nice. So teaching them about what we do now, it's super nice because they get to your level. Like, my mom is using Facebook and Instagram and texting now. And I'm like, wow, it's super nice that she's able to do that. Even using, I share my location with her, and she's like, what are you doing, mija? ¿Por qué tan tarde? So what are you doing over there? It's so late. And I'm like, Mom, I'm at work. I'm doing this. So it's super nice that they're able to learn as well.
And it's really unfortunate that that's the first thought, that not even the older generation, like our parents and our grandparents, but even some of the newer generation is thinking that self-work and therapy and just self-development is always, you have to be broken. There has to be something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, is that it's not that we're broken. I feel like every single individual on this planet has some type of shadow. Everybody has shadows, whether it was brought down from your mom, your dad, your tata, yourself, whatever it might be. Everyone has shadows, and why not work on them? So yes. I love that we're able to educate your parents, because I educate my whole family now, like my husband's side of the family, about self-work. And some of them do it, some of them don't. But the ones that are doing it, I can see the growth. So it's important to not just, hold on to the things that we learn when it comes down to self-development, but also share with our family so we can all rise together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it did impact. I mean, people don't realize like when you become better as a whole, as a human being, as an entity, your business is an extension of you. Your relationships are an extension of you. Like I'm single as well. I'm not in a relationship. And so it's like I'm becoming and staying focused for my future partner because I know who I want, and I need to really, really be on top of my shiznit to be able to attract that caliber of a man that I'm intentionally bringing into my life. And I'm sure you're doing the same thing. And Daniela, for her and Art, because Art's done a lot of growth work too. And for even couples, like to stay on the same path and grow together, you guys are constantly growing. I'm so proud of you guys. You have just, I mean, your business has shifted, your relationship with your children, everything changes for the better. And it for sure is like a prevention thing to have the skills to go to somebody like you, Jackie, and to have life skills so that maybe when things aren't going so well, you're able to cope pretty quickly and prevent a lot of unnecessary suffering to occur because you have
Yeah, and
you have
one
the
thing I feel
tools.
is that we are all students of life, and we weren't born knowing it all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to learn. And I always say that it's okay not to be okay. Like tomorrow's a new day, or you can change it today. You know, so it's really nice, and knowing that we're all students in life. Like, we don't have a manual to be a human being and know to do everything.
Are you
Because I
sure
want to
about that?
purchase
No, I'm
it.
just kidding. Me too. Where is it? Come on, God.
So
Where
Tanya
is it?
just touched on how she's developing herself to manifest and attract the right man for her. Do you have any what kind of man you want to
Uh-oh.
attract, or how? Could you hear me? Am I cutting out? Sorry, I was getting
Yeah,
a
you cut
incoming
off a
call.
little.
Please. Sorry.
How disrespectful. People calling you live, not you
It's
to
my
them.
daughter. Raquel.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
We'll let her slide then.
Raquel. Sorry, let me have somebody call her.
Well, I'll share what I'm doing and you let me know what you're doing. I mean, I'm not actively looking, but something I got to interview Elena Cardone
Oh my
like
God.
years ago before she wrote her book and stuff like that, and it was how to attract your soulmate. And so one thing she had advised was to make a list of everything that you want in your ideal person, in your ideal partner. And then to go back through the list and circle with taking honest, being honest about it. What am I not and what am I lacking? And to circle those things and to work on the becoming. And one of my favorite quotes that I have posted on my fridge is, what do I have to overcome? And what do I have to, and who do I have to become in order to become the woman that I need to become? So those are some things that I was like working on as different skill sets and traits of becoming what I want to attract.
One of the things that I always think about is that we focus on the negative. Like, oh, I don't like a man like this. I don't like a man like that. Now I know who I don't want. Because wanting, like, there's a lot of things qualities that I want in a man. But I mean, just like we're human beings, we're not perfect, and we can find a person, but we start seeing the negative right away instead of seeing those negative in a good way, and we always try right away, we try to change him. Oh my God, I don't like how the mom or how the tia or how this or how he did this. So now I feel that I don't focus on the negative, but I focus on the good thing of a person. And before, obviously, like any girl, any guy, they physical is important. Physical is important, but now I feel that personality and the ambitious of the person, it's the plus for me. Is the what I go to right away. And before it was different, Oh, I want a man who we would go for the physical stuff, and now I don't see it that
Oh
way.
God, muscles, this and that.
Exactly.
Yeah, instead of the thing that's in here.
I feel like we can have it all. Listen, if I'm working to become it all, and I'm gonna be fit AF and smart AF and a boss AF, then I have pretty high standards on that other person. So I'm just saying, I mean, we can all agree to disagree, but if I gotta be in shape,
I agree. I
gotta be in
completely
shape.
agree on that.
Like,
But I mean, before it would be the pretty boy, you know, like in high school. Oh, I like that pretty boy that was like hanging out with all the girls. And now it's not about that. It's different. Like, oh, I want him to have his own business, or at least work where I know we're gonna be equal. And if we're not gonna be equal, that we're gonna be able to hold our hands and walk together.
very, very powerful. We got to grow together. There has to be growth. I mean, I can be honest. That's why my marriage never worked, because I changed. You know, I said that to him. I was like, I changed. It wasn't you. I changed. You know, and sometimes people, like you said, even about friends, like not everybody's gonna want to walk the journey with you, and that's okay. But you have to know what you want, and you have to be honest with it, and you have to follow your heart and your path. And you know, sometimes things not everybody's meant to be in your life forever. Some people are just seasons, some people are years.
Like, to get really raw, I remember during my transition, I even told Art, I was like, I had a conversation, I was like, I'm scared to outgrow you. Like, I'm scared to outgrow you and like not want to be with you, because that's what happens. You outgrow people, and then you shy away from them.
Yeah.
And he's all, it was funny, his response, he's like, don't be scared, I'll probably outgrow you. Because we were just joking. But that's honestly what happens. You know, that's why we decided to take our journey together, so that we can grow together. Because when one person's growing and the other one's not, this happens. And that, you know, you have to be together, like you said. I love how you said, I want to take his hand and walk side by side, because that's exactly how growth is supposed to work.
Yeah. Even friends too, guys. Even friendships are like the same way. Not everybody's, you know, Jackie, like how Jackie said, like not everybody's gonna really want to see you win, or they're just gonna cheer for you until they feel like you've surpassed them, and then they're really not gonna be rooting for you anymore.
And it happens often.
It's the way. It can also be the way you think. Like, you can be thinking of like you ladies were saying, growth, business growing. Just have a certain image in your head of what you want, and the other person might not have that, and that's okay. You know, to each their own. Everyone has their the right to have their own perfect life, but that doesn't mean that it has to be yours. So for you, single ladies, don't settle because you don't want to be alone, because eventually someone's gonna come and meet where you're at, meet what you want to be in life. So
yeah, and I think, and that's why I was saying, like, I did take Elena's advice on that, because it does funnel out, you know, what do I want to, like, I start buying myself flowers, and I romance myself, because it's like, in the meantime, would I rather go on a date that's like a waste of my time when I could build my business, I could romance myself, like enjoy my own company. So when you know what you want and you're able to pre-qualify people before investing time, because you can never get time back. So that's why I think it was a perfect funnel system.
I feel it's going along with what you said. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I always tell my friends, don't go on dates, go on adventures. I mean, you're going to have time, and at the end of the day, if you like them, you're going to know, like, if you guys go hiking, or if you guys, I don't know, go tubing, or whatever is the scenario, dinners, they're always uncomfortable. For me, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to go on a date. I'd rather do an adventure and learn something about him that way, because it's just different.
Yeah, and you're almost like building a friendship first. That's a good piece of advice. For those of you watching, this is also interactive. So if you have any questions for Jackie, myself, or Daniela that's in alignment to minding my business, please feel free to drop your question or your comment below. A lot of people were more just cheering you on, Jackie, earlier on here. Give me a little shout outs. Saying, "This is my girl." I said, yeah. But if you guys have any questions or anything like that for Jackie or any of us, just go ahead and put that in the chat box because we do look at everything that you guys post, by the way. So, Jackie, if there's like one golden, oh, she froze. You there? It's a good picture though. Uh-oh. Okay, she's back.
What helps you with
confidence? Got it. All right, perfect. And we have our first question. Welcome back. What helps you with confidence?
There's a lot of little things that I always work on, but I think that and I mentioned it before, being your worst judge, it's always gonna put you down. So you need to cheer yourself up and you need to tell yourself like, I'm a bad bitch, I'm gonna be able to do this. Like there's people that are doing worse than I am, that are in worse case or worse level that I am, and I feel that gives me the confidence every time. I know, yeah, like looking pretty or doing your hair, it always helps. It always helps to take care of yourself. Going to the gym, getting ready every day. Get up and get ready. Like if you're gonna find the love of your life, or if you're gonna go to a party every day. I feel that that's very important. Take care of yourself.
Or we're gonna be interviewed by
invest on yourself all the time.
On a live.
So for me, it would be words of affirmation. So my phone's always going off. I was about to show you my phone, but I'm on live. Sorry. So on my phone, I actually have my power words that go off. And it's funny, Jackie, that you say that you tell yourself you're a bad bitch. Because girl, I be telling myself I'm a badass bitch. Like, no, I'm a boss ass bitch. Like, and it's funny because I don't like. There's some people I know, especially before, that would use like bitch as a negative. Not me, girl. That's me all day long. And actually, Brandon put a meaning of bitch. I think it was better. Yes.
Oh, Preston.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah. Yes. Preston Brown.
Do you remember what it was? Yes, it
His
was.
Wife said it.
Being in. I'll put it in the comments below.
I know, I forgot it too.
Awesome.
I'm trying to remember.
It was like something. It was something empowering, you know. But yeah, words of affirmation are a really big thing for me because and that's the thing that you're not always gonna be confident. I know there's sometimes like, especially with these damn filters, that I'm like, oh, I wish I could change this, or oh, I don't like this about myself. But the thing is to catch it, because words have power. If you're calling yourself ugly, or if you're calling yourself fat, or if you're calling yourself, you know, dumb or anything, those words, even though you don't think they're gonna make a difference, they really are. So instead, replace those words with I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm confident, I'm empowering, I am brilliant, I'm a boss. And just, you're gonna say it so much. Say it every morning before you go to bed. Or when you're having one of those times that you're just feeling down on yourself, say those words and just repeat them, and eventually you're gonna believe them. You know, because those words do have power. If you believe those negative things, why can't you believe the positive things? Because we all have beauty. We're all beautiful. We're all smart. We all have a boss within ourselves. It's just kind of chipping it away at all that trauma and all that negative stuff that we have said to ourselves in the past or we have gone through.
And I feel it's very important that we, just like we check in with our partner, just like we check in with our friends, with our parents, I think it's very important that we check in with ourselves. If you feel that you are being very impatient, very irritated, that you have trouble focusing, because it happens any day, like just some days we're off, we're struggling to, like, our brain doesn't capture anything that we are doing, and we need to figure it out. Okay, what's my stress level, like what's working and what's not working. We need to check in within ourselves in order to be able to get out of that zone, that black zone, and keep on working. You're not enjoying what you're doing. Okay, what am I doing that I'm not enjoying it? You keep getting sick. A lot of people get headaches, they get migraine, they're just not feeling well mentally and physically. So what's going on? Our hormones work very crazy, and they shut down when we are having that stress level. So we need to check in with ourselves first in order to continue, succeeding.
Life,
Yeah.
you're either choose to grow, choose to change, or you choose to stay where you're at. Like me, I'm choosing 7 hard. You see this? Like, I would have never thought I'd be drinking so much water, but I chose to better myself. I need more discipline, so I'm doing 75 hard. Life, what's your choice?
Yeah, taken out of your comfort zone. And I think the biggest thing is just like commitment, committing to yourself. I was talking to one of my good friends, and we're talking about, and she's super successful, like so freaking successful. We're talking about like $100 million success and gorgeous, everything, like, and she's very like in the air at the same time. So I'm helping her with build structure and grounding. And the biggest thing was, we were talking about commitment, and the reason why she hasn't been successful, what it came down to, the core reason was it's boring. And routine is boring, and habits are boring, but the outcome for the long game, like the whole conversation we've been talking about, is always worth it. So a lot of this journey isn't always going to be stimulating, because actually stimulation is most of the time what gets us in trouble. But it's the commitment and the clarity and the structure and the routines and the discipline, because discipline does equal freedom. And there's a difference between discipline versus self-torture. So, I think being able to discern one of the two is so powerful for people too. But I thought it was a really fascinating conversation, and the awareness she had. I was really proud of her of that. She's like, it's just so boring. I'm like, well, this building a business isn't always fun, but it's always worth it. And the long game is always worth it. And seeing money in your account is fun, but cold calling might not be.
So like a little tip for all of you guys that have businesses or are growing businesses and are bored, because I'm guilty of that. I actually find other pieces in my business that I haven't necessarily touched or mastered, and focus on that. So by the end, you have mastered every single cycle in your business. For example, us, it's disposition, acquisition, transaction, and cold calling. Cold calling, I will probably never do. But all the other 3, I have done. Why? Because life does get boring. So find fun in the little things that you have to do, so that they're not so boring.
And you know what? I always like to give examples, and take it as with pictures, and picture like a scenario for everyone to learn about it. So if we think about tying our shoes, when we were smaller, it was so challenging. A lot of us were not able to do that little flower or the little bow. It was just challenging. But we needed to do that in order to get up and run and keep on going on our day, right? To go to school. Now we put on our shoes without even thinking. We're already thinking, what's next? What's the next step? But because we created that routine, we created that structure that Tanya is talking about, and knowing that I need to put my shoes on in order to get to the office, you don't even worry about the shoes. You worry about getting to the office now, because you build that routine into your life. So it's the same thing.
Yeah. And that's what a habit is. A habit is just effort. So eventually, at the beginning, it's mental effort and energy until it becomes on
Yes.
autopilot. And then we still have behavior like brushing our teeth, getting ready, but we don't have to mentally, energetically exert the effort to accomplish the task anymore. Same thing like with driving or anything. I remember when I
Yeah.
first started driving, I was like, oh my God. Now I'm just like, how did I get here?
Did I pass that street?
How did I get from...
Honestly.
So Jackie, if you could leave, I can't believe it's
Oh
already
my
been
God.
1 hour. It's so, yeah, it's been such an amazing conversation. If you could leave the audience, people watching now and watching the replay, like a really golden message that they could implement today, that might be simple, they might feel capable of doing for them to become a better version of themselves, what would that one thing be to build mental strength or anything in
I
regards
feel
to
that
bettering themselves?
regardless of our age, regardless of our religion, of our background, or who we are, or who we were, we are not made to be small, but we are made to be big, but we have to show up. So show up every day, and I think that's going to take you out of the zone that you're in. If you're feeling uncomfortable, it's good to feel uncomfortable. It's good to get out of your comfort zone. And no one else is going to motivate you by yourself. You have to tell yourself every day your goals and why you're doing this for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Thank you so much for all of your freaking diamonds you dropped on everybody. Do you have any upcoming things that
Yes,
you want to
well,
tell people
first of
about?
all, I wanna
They
thank you
can
ladies
follow
for the
you.
opportunity for this space. I know you guys have a lot of things going on, but Tanya, Daniela, you guys are badass. I heard you both on the stage. You both are amazing. I look up to you guys and everything that you guys do, and keep on rocking. And it's amazing what you guys do in the community. Thank you for this interview. And also June 16th, we have our wholesale shark event, our 5.0 event. You guys are more than welcome to join us. It's going to start at 4 p.m. It's going to be at the Renaissance Hotel by Westgate. And we're going to have the pleasure to have Art, to have Carlos, to have Saul, to have a lot of speakers that are really going to bring a lot of value to the table for everyone out there trying to learn about wholesaling or real estate, or just leaving your job because you're tired of that. Honestly, this is a time for you to network, and this is a time for you to succeed. So take advantage of this, and we'll see you June 16th, this Thursday.
And that link is in your bio. And you guys, for those of you that don't live in Arizona, it is in Arizona. I'm in Florida, so I'm not going to be there, but thank you for the invite. But it is in Arizona, so if you want to make a trip over there last minute,
Thursday,
Thursday.
Thursday.
What, in 2 days? Yeah, Thursday. So it's this Thursday in Arizona. The link to have access to that is in Jackie's bio. You can access it there. And thank you so much for being on Minding My Business.
Jackie.
You were just
No, thank you, ladies.
amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll see you ladies soon.
Appreciate
Yes.
you. Yes, and for those of you watching Minding My Business, stay tuned every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern and 11 Mountain Standard Time, where we bring on special guests to elevate your business, your mindset, and
your life.
your life.
Your
Thank
life
you.
and my life.
Period.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.